Welcome back everybody. I'm working on my cover today a little bit. So this is a vintage, I've called it the seamstress journal, and we've got this dangle here and I'm going to put some extra strands on it. Someone asked how I do it, so you can see how I add to it. I've got some other things to add to it as well, which are really quite cool. And then I'm going to do the closure probably, and some lace around, and not necessarily in that order. Okay, so let's get going. So I don't know if you can see, but there's lots of separate strands here. They do get all tangled in, but that adds to the look sometimes. So we're going to add in some wax thread. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Get some wax thread going. I do have an eyelet this time round, but sometimes I just use a paper clip. So actually this is one that cannot be removed easily. Whereas if you have a paper clip, obviously it can. So I'm measuring up, but I'm not necessarily going to be very precise about it because each of the dangle bits is a different length, different size, and that's absolutely fine. It actually adds to it. But I want a couple of longer ones because I want them to come right down almost to the bottom of the spine. So I'm going to go for a bit of a longer piece. And then all I'm going to do is use my eyelet up here if there's room. It's pretty full, so that's why that's not that easy, but wax thread is so easy to work with that you won't have a problem, normally speaking. I think I'll put some paper over the back of it, which I'll have to stick back on in a minute. Alright, there we go. Okay, so we've got that there, and then I'm going to tie it in place. They're not going to do them the same lengths, and I can always cut them shorter if it ends up being a bit long. So just tie it into a knot like that, and then we've got two nice strands to put stuff on. I've already selected some random beads which have the colours I like and bits and bobs to go on here, and it is random, and that's what makes it work. So let me see if I can hold it like that so you can see. I think that's going to be the best way for you to see. I might change it up if I think you can't. So I've got this pot of things here, which, oh gosh, that was loud, wasn't it? I don't know if you can see all the different things that I've got in there. So they're all different colours. Got some pinks, some greens, which I think very much the journal is about, and then I've got some browns in there. I've actually got some stuff that I've bought, and some of it's just jewellery split down. So I'm just trying to think of the best way for you to see me doing this. Actually, I think I'm going to lay it like that. I think you can see it better that way. The whole point is for you to see what I'm doing. So let me just choose one of the strands and we'll get started. So I'll start with a starter, say, button. So a look to see what we have going on. We don't have any really large buttons at the top, so I'm going to start with that. I'm not going to talk too much about this because it's going to be pretty obvious what I'm doing in a minute. So I'm just going to thread the starter button, and some of the buttons I'll tie, and some of them I'll leave that they can slide up and down. So this is going to go through here, out the other side, and this one I think I'm going to allow to slide a little bit. So just trying to make sure you can see, guys, because what's the point if you can't? So let's have all these down here. So that is my first button there, look. Now that's actually quite firm, so it's not really going to go anywhere, so I don't really need to tie that one anyway. So that's my first one. Then I'm going to go for, say, a bead. You don't have to worry too much about what you're doing, because when you do, say, 6 or 7 strands and they're all different, with all different sized and shaped beads, when they, size and shapes, blur, when it falls down into where it needs to be, because it's all different, it all bunches together and looks really sweet. So I've got that bead there. Now I'm going to put a pearl on. I might have to abandon these pearls because if they're too narrow, which they might be. Yeah, they are. Okay, that's okay. Disappointing, but not the end of the world. So let's put this one on as well. That goes through really quick. You don't have to use wax thread, you could use embroidery thread, you could use anything that you like, but, excuse me, I think the thing about wax thread, it's pretty hardy, it's going to last for the person who buys the journal, there's lots of benefits. got this little sewing machine that's going to go on, which is really cute. Now this one I'm going to tie, because then it's going to be like a stopper and stop all the beads kind of sliding down to the bottom, and mean that we have things in position. So, and I'm not necessarily going to fill this whole thread up, because I don't want it to. I want it to have gaps as well, and then the other strands will fill out where that gap is. I'll show you in a minute. So let's get this one in. I'm sorry about my horrendous nails. I've managed to get a hair appointment booked, and I need to get these nails booked in, but they're not there at the moment, and they are growing out, and I never let them grow this long. Hopefully you can't entirely see that, but okay, so that's that one. I'm kind of disappointed about those pearls. I might give one more go. I never like to be defeated on this. I can't, it's a very small, no. Okay, I will give up. So then I've got this one of these pink ones here, which was definitely a bought one. Pretty cheap from Etsy actually. I need to cut that. And I'll probably do some fabric next. Got some fabrics laying around. It gives it a bit of a eclectic, slightly boho look, because it's all over the place, but that's kind of me, that's my personality if I'm honest. Right, so that one I don't think I need to tie. I'm just gonna, let's get you a bit closer. Is that better? Sure it will be. Let's go in there, out the other side. So this is quite a new channel, guys. It's split off from a previous channel. So I was doing two things on the channel. On junk journaling was one. So okay. So that slides. That doesn't much. That doesn't. That kind of doesn't. So you see, that's all hanging down now. When it goes in together on top of, then that's a nice long one, but it kind of doesn't matter that we don't have anything there, because we've got all that there. And I kind of knew it was quite bunchy there, so I feel like now that we don't have those pearls, we're missing something, but never mind. Let's not keep talking about it, Nairi, and fussing about it. Right, let's have a green one. The green one I think needs to be tied. So this is where, I haven't showed you this, we just tie around the button. Just a normal kind of knot. Like that, and that won't move. And that's very near the bottom now, so probably won't put anything past that, but I probably will put some fabric kind of between those two there. So let's see what we have. So I've got some black, which is a bit dramatic, so I haven't got anything like that on there. I've got some of this, which is authentic vintage, quite wide, those two. I've got some butterfly stuff, which you can't go wrong with, but it's not the right colour. And honestly, that's probably the best I have. So let me see. I also have this flower, which I don't love, but it would be quite dramatic if we made a hole in that, but I said I don't love it, so let's try this, shall we? I'm just going to cut a narrow strip, because I'm going to tie it around that wax thread. I hope you guys are doing good. I had a much better day yesterday. I kind of did a little bit more walking down to the shop and back. My back was painful afterward, but at least I did it. So I think I'm getting there, guys. I think this back is well on the way to healing now. Right. Okay, so let me just hold this up so you can see how that looks, okay? Because this is what I would do when I'm deciding whether I like the look of it or not, whether something is too gappy or too much, or so I've got loads of stuff up there, which is why I did need to come back and do some more of these. But that one actually looks really nice, even though there's hardly anything on it in a way. But that's just a little bit long, maybe. But I'm gonna put it to the side. You can see it's a little bit long, so I'm gonna give that a little trim, but not too much. So let's trim that now. Just do a little trim. That's better. Okay, so now we've got to find the other one that was blank. she says. Where has it gone? Should be here somewhere. Shouldn't it? Stand the journal up. It's probably lost in here somewhere. Where are you? Sounds nice, feels nice. Ah, there we go. It's got a bit tangled, but I don't think I can put much now toward the top, as you can see, because this tends to get tangled a bit, which is fine. So this is the one that we're left with, and it looks to me like I need to kind of concentrate on putting quite a lot down here. So let's go for a dart button. It's quite a vintagey looking one. I'll trim this a little bit. So we're just doing this one, and then I think I'm going to look at how my actual closure is going to go with the sari silk that I have, and whether excuse me, whether I then need to, whether I can put lace around the journal or whether I want to. Okay, so if I'm holding this down here now, look, I don't want to damage the journal, but it kind of could start there, but if I'm honest, it could maybe come a bit further. Maybe about there. Doesn't need to be tied. And let's go for another dramatic colour, which I haven't included as a blue, because it's not, it has got blue on the front actually, hasn't it, with those dragonflies. Gonna have to have a swig of my tea in a minute because of my throat. Okay, let's put that there like so, and then let's have, what can we have? See, I do have this stuff, which I was going to thread through separately, but maybe what we could do is add it to the bottom of here, and it'll be so pretty. So perhaps that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie it on. I'm going to tie this to it, should I say. And then I've got this, I say this, I haven't showed you yet, a lace bobbin. Have you ever seen those? They're wooden. I found those at the charity shop yesterday. This is what I was busy doing. I went in for one thing, which was a sewing pattern to include in this journal, or to, you know, deconstruct for some ephemera. Then I came out with way too much stuff. But I like to be ahead with my journals and have extras, which I don't always use in them, but I like to have it there. Okay, so that is not going to work because it's too low, I think. I could double it up a little bit. Could go back up with it. Let's do that, let's not be defeated. I thought it was going to come further at the journal than that, but let's double it up. And let's then tie it on here. Got myself in a bit of a mess, I can see. This is quite thin, and it was bought from Temu, so it's not real jewellery, so I think I can manipulate it into actually tying around, I think. Let's see. I could glue it, but I don't want to do that really. Okay, that's a bit random. I don't know. I think that can work. Let me see. Oh, it's quite nice keeping the other one on there. I probably will have to maybe glue that to make sure it's not going to slide down, but let me see. I could leave that actually. I'm not going to take the bottom of that off. Can you see that? Okay, so basically, can't remember the name of the lady. There's lots of strands of wax thread, which you can either put on a paper clip or I've put through an eyelet, and you just tie some buttons on, put some buttons loose. You just literally go random, add fabric, and it just comes out, I think, real cute. So I'll double check that that's secure later, but for the time being, this is a lace bobbin. I have several of them, but I'm only going to put one on here because we're getting to the point where it's quite full, and I'm going to put one like so, I think, like that. And I'm going to need to tie the top of it. I've not added this sort of thing in before, so let's just see. As long as I can get it through that top eyelet, it'll be fine. I'm going to tie it around here, nice and tight. This is adding something really different to the journal, I think. And I'm adding some genuine stuff in because I think that when you use a kit, and I do really like the kit I've made. I shouldn't bigging myself up here, but I do love the kit. But I think when you're using kits, you do need to think about making the journal individual and adding other things in, which are either genuine ephemera or something a bit different, something a bit quirky, because you want the person buying it to feel like their journal is going to be very different from anybody else's. Okay, so let's see if you can see that. I'm going to thread in here. Just about got room. And then you can definitely see my nails now, can't you? Disaster area they are. Right, actually let's have a look at where that could fall. We don't have to have it further up actually. And being that this is a bit gappy, I'm going to put it around about here. And I think that will work well, so let's pop that one on. So the disadvantage of the way I'm doing it now is you can't remove it unless you cut all your, you know, all these off. But if you find yourself a large paper clip and make sure you put the paper clip correctly onto the journal, then, and you don't go mad with the amount of strings, then people can remove it. Or you put some sort of ring brad in there, which I haven't done before, but that's another option. Okay, so how do we think? Do we like that? I'm going to say that I really like that. Look at the lace situation. I did buy some yesterday, which is this nice creamy stuff, and it is genuinely vintage, which is nice, and it would definitely complement this journal, no doubt about it. And if somebody really likes lace, then it's a winner chicken dinner, you know. It's an extra thing that you've added that just makes it a little bit special. Sorry, we seem to be going on. So I've got 3 meters of it, so I've got enough. So I would look to glue it on the inside. And I think I need to come out a little bit this time. Hopefully you can see. I would be gluing it on the inside all the way round. So I need to know how that would look against the sari silk. So that's the decision I'm going to make now. So I'm going to put that like that, as if it was glued. Put that like that. I think that does look very nice. But here my lovelies, is the sari silk. Is that not amazing? It came from a Cornish shop. So I'm in Cornwall, by the way. Right, so I could do this, or I could do this. Don't like that. So it is going to be coming from underneath like that. But I think it's okay with the lace. Let me take the lace away and see what's what. I hope it's strong enough. It may have to be reinforced with something else going alongside it. Though, I mean, it doesn't need the lace per se. I think it's going to look beautiful without, but I'm going to do it because it's special, isn't it? Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing now, is gluing this lace around. So if you've never sort of glued lace or fabric onto anything, onto any journals, then you may want to watch this. So I'm literally going to cut the length that I want, but I'm always going to allow myself just a bit more, not undercut, because that's the worst thing you can do, because then you've got to start all over again. So let's give it a nice chunky piece. Chop. And the same for this edge here. Chop on that edge there. Again, just a little bit more than I need. There's different ways of doing this. I mean, if you have a sewing machine, and you get in early enough with the journal, you can sew stuff, but you've got to be careful when you've got thickness to the journal, because it wouldn't be that easy to do it. You'd have to kind of sew the lace to the cover before putting the cover on the journal, but that's perhaps for another video, I say. I haven't been near my sewing machine since I had a bad back, so that's out of the question for me. All right, let's get this on then. And let's get the old Fabri-Tac moving. If you've not found me before, it's because I haven't been on this channel for very long, so please subscribe if you like this sort of content, and hopefully if you hit the notification bell you'll be notified when I've got a new video out. Can't tell you how often that will be at the moment, just getting into the swing of it in the new year, but pretty regular, I'd like to say. Don't want to jinx anything, but providing my back holds out and nothing major happens, then at least 2, shall we say, meaty videos a week where I'm doing quite a lot on them. Maybe more if I'm trying to get something done. Right, let me make sure there's enough lace on this side, because you don't want it hanging off so much that it could get ripped off. So enough lace to hold onto the journal, but enough lace to be seen on the edge. And I'll probably chop this down here at a later point, because that's the original cushion cover that I use, which is a vintage one, so I'll probably chop that down a little bit once it's all dry. Let it dry first. Don't tempt fate starting to chop things when things are still wet. On this one, you'll be able to see in a minute what this looks like from the front, which will be fun. And then start thinking about I might start thinking about the closure before I put the back lace on, just in case there's something I don't like about it. Because you can get this lace back off of Fabri-Tac, but you've got to expect the lace to be damaged, or the journal potentially, so you don't really want to be mucking about with it when you put it on. But it is possible to get it off again, so let me just wrap that around first, I think. I did say I might put some dragonflies on the inside of the journal. That might be on the cards. Just see how this all looks, really. Oh, we didn't need it long now yet, did we? Let's just do this one first, because it will dry too quick. Right. Try to get it similar to the other one, just eyeball it. On it goes. Don't stretch it out too much, but you don't want it puckering. There we go. That looks pretty. It's about the right width. I've used a lot of lace on my recent journals, and I didn't have the right kind of width lace. I'd either really wide or really narrow. And when I saw the lady yesterday and bought this, I thought this is perfect. And she said to me, oh, somebody came in yesterday. She said, and she bought £60 of lace. I went, oh, okay. I said, you have a really good selection of lace. This is like a thrift store, kind of scrap store that I've got actually in my town. But I thought, wow, that's a lot of lace, isn't it? I said, that's a lot. She said, yeah. She was doing something with it. She said, she was making, oh, what was it? Journals. I went, well, yes. That's interesting, but that's what I'm doing with it. So this lady must be into making journals in a big way. £60 of lace. Because, I don't know, I think this was 75p a metre, this lace, which might not mean anything to you if you're in the US or somewhere else, but it's not a lot. Maybe that's 50 cents where you are, or something like that. But, yeah, that's not a lot. Okay, did I cut a piece off the top? Because I can't see whether I did. Yes, I did, and it's floated around. Okay. Put that on then. Again, it's fine to overlap because we can chop it later. Let's make sure that I think I've allowed a bit more flapping over the top there, but hey ho. It doesn't have to be exact. I mean, junk journals never do they? That's the whole point of them. Right, okay. Now when I close this, hope and pray that you like the look of it, and that I do too. Yes, although that's going to have to be dealt with, obviously. Okay, not what I expected. Quite wavy, isn't it? But different, and one the back is on and the closure, I think it's going to actually look better than I imagined. Okay, so just whilst that's drying, let's just chop this here then. All right, there we go. So I've got into the trap. I call it a trap because it's quite time consuming, of making my own kits. But I think the reason why I do it is because I have an idea in my mind, and there are other people out there doing it, but maybe I've got like an image in my mind of how I want something to be. I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with that. I'm frightened to deal with it at all, to be honest, in case I'd make up a muck. I think I need to leave that now. Maybe come a little bit more. Yeah, not sure about these bits here. I mean, could end up with some dangles on them perhaps to make them, but it is quite quirky. So I'm not gonna worry about it for the minute, because once the closure goes on, everything looks different. So I could probably work on it from the inside, but if you see here, if I start cutting that across, and it won't have a wave there at all. So I think maybe I should leave that and not fuss with it. I need to cut that, but that's not difficult, is it? It looks very nice from the inside. From the outside, it's a bit quirky, but it's okay. It's okay. Now this is the fun bit, I say. It's freezing outside, but our heating's kicked in. I'm actually feeling quite warm. Right, okay, probably it's the pressure, guys. I'm doing this, the pressure. Right, so let me see. So this is about midway, like that. Oh gosh, I nearly stuck down then. Doesn't have to be exact, but I'm thinking we're going to need quite a lot of coming in here for this sari silk to be stable, and it may be that I add sort of something alongside it that actually helps with the tie, so that the pressure's not on the silk, because it's strong, but it's not, you know, I worry about it a little bit. So let's even come a little bit further into here, I think. Hope you can see all right. I keep checking that you can. I'm in the smallest crafting space known to man, I am. Right, so that could start there. I can still fit things in that pocket, and then it will get stuck all the way along there. And I may, as I said, need to add something else which is stronger in there, yeah, on the inside especially. So maybe I could then add, I don't know whether I want to add it as a full closure, but maybe here, that could strengthen it a bit. And it's quite quirky actually, isn't it? Yeah, let's do that. This is a scary bit, I'm not gonna lie, because it can go badly wrong, but if it did, I just have to rip it up and cover it up, or do something with it. There's always ways of undoing stuff, but you don't really want to waste sari silk or lace, you know. Even at its cheapest, it's not cheap, is it? So right, come on, like you can. So don't want to get that on there. I do need it to be enough glue for us to be sure that's gone down, but not so much. It's going to come through that sari silk, which is another reason why I might add something on the top of it, so that you don't see all the glue coming through. But let's see how we go. See what happens. Kind of smush it down a bit bit more there, definitely. Right. Moment of truth has arrived. Everybody breathe for me. Okay. I don't normally do this sort of thing on camera. I'm sure you can see why. Because it's a bit pressured, isn't it? Okay. So any other closure I've done has been like a satin ribbon, which is much stronger and thicker than this. I've used sari silk, but not for a closure. Or maybe I've added it on, but not for the actual closure. But I love it. So let's just see how this is. I'm going to put, even though it's coming through, I need to just make sure it is glued, okay? Gosh, that was a bit of a blob. Okay. So what will happen now is I need to not pull this because obviously I need it to dry, but I'm going to leave lots and lots of excess to be able to tie this, more than what you might think, because I can always cut it down. There's a load of dirt on there though, isn't there? I think. Or is it staining? I don't know. Actually, it's just some sort of dye. So when we come all the way back here, I need to get this out of the way. Sorry, there's lots of stuff that's been added in which is getting in the way. I need to know that I've got lots and lots of possibility for tying a massive ribbon, which looks beautiful when you create a journal. So I'm going to try and imagine what that would be like if I need to tie. So I'm going to leave myself more, because if I leave myself more and I have to cut some off, I can use sari silk in anything, but it's better to be giving yourself more than enough. So it's kind of easier on this side because I don't have that pocket, and I didn't make any pockets here actually, so that's going to be fine. What are you doing, Nairi? There. Oh, nearly did it wrong, didn't I? Yeah, there. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to stick it that way. I'm trying to think about this, guys. This way. Backwards. So that, yeah, backwards. Okay, round about there. Leave a bit of the flower showing. Shame it doesn't show entirely, but I don't know what's happening to my glue, but it won't come out. If you like to buy journals, or you think you want one for a gift, then I do sell them on Etsy. I also put them on Ko-fi as well. So if you've not found me on Ko-fi, it's slightly different in the sense that you get a sense of the journey that I am doing as a creator. And I will sometimes put things free on there or cheaper. I mean, not the journals, but the journals can be a little bit cheaper when I first list, in case anybody watching YouTube or any of my supporters or a member wants to buy it, then they got that option of it being slightly cheaper than Etsy. So those two links are in my description if you want to have a little ganders, have a little see what I'm up to. Any support is always good anyway. Having people following you wherever it is nice. Okay, come on. I think the glue just came out fine earlier, now it just seems to not want to. I don't think it's really running out. Right, that's better. Has to be enough for it to work. It's made my hands sore. Okay, we're just going to get this the right way around, okay? Because otherwise it won't tie correctly. This is the way around we want it. We're just going to pop it on and squish it down. I'm going to try to get this fabric tack to kind of move a bit there. So loads coming out now. Doesn't make any sense, does it? I'm going to say the worst thing about junk journaling is glue, and its failure to comply when you need it to. Okay, well that's enough to get it stuck down, and I can always come back and add more in off camera, can't I? You know, that's not difficult. But for the time being, we've got what we need, a closure. So now we are going to cut right in the middle of this ribbon, she says. I'll measure it off camera and then I'll cut it on camera. Okay, that's halfway. Chop. And there we have it. Now I just don't want these pages to stick onto there because they could. Right, now we have a fabulous sari silk closure. So let's just treat ourselves and tie it up, shall we? Like so. Now I could knot it, I could bow it, but the most important thing is I have enough to do either or neither. So that's what the bow looks like. I think we can do a better job than that, hang on. It could be that a knot's going to look better, but let's just try it, shall we? That's the bow. Now this journal's not finished yet, so it's going to be wider. It's probably going to end up being sort of more like that, I'd imagine. Maybe a bit more. Let's go like that then. So the sari silk's not really holding anything per se, but you don't want it breaking either, do you? So that's a bow. Like that. And like that. I think it could end up being tighter than that actually. Sorry, I'm faffing now. I like to get it how I like to get it, do you know what I'm saying? Okay, so that bow needs to be a bit tighter. Let's do it a bit tighter. Smaller bow, bigger, kind of coming downward. Okay, that's a bow. Or you can have a knot. Okay, but most importantly, we've got our fabulous closure there. Okay, now let's undo that a minute. Sorry about all the noises. Now obviously you can see the glue coming through, so I would say that I am definitely going to add that in, but I may not do that now because it's very wet underneath and it's not a good time to do that. So now we've got the issue, haven't we, of the fact that I put the lace under that there, but I'm going to need to put it over that. If I put this here, let's get the end of it, and I close it, it's actually fine. Okay, I thought we were going to have problems there, but I don't think we do. Right. So guys, if you've watched me so far, I think it's really nice if I tell you what my options are for my next journal and you could help me choose while I'm talking, and I'll try to get this right and not mess it up while I'm talking. So your options are a botanical one, which includes a bit of Edith Holden, which I know everybody loves that, don't they? A forget-me-not, no, not forget-me-not, a bluebell one, bluebell fairy. Come on. I don't have a kit for botanical, but I do have a lot of ephemera and options for it. Oh my goodness. I'll keep talking to you about this while I'm trying to get the glue out. So yeah, bluebell fairy, a gypsy traveller one, which is kind of red, lots of reds and boho colours, and last but by no means least is like an Indian one. I don't know what I'm going to call that one yet, but like Indian ladies and Indian designs and that type of thing. When I say Indian, I don't mean modern Indian, I mean old Indian, you know, tribes and that type of thing. Apache, is it? Apache Indian, that's what I mean. So if you're still watching, feel free to put in the comments which one of those you would like to see. I'm also thinking that my next Under the Sea is my other option, actually. Under the Sea. So my next journal, I'm thinking of making a whopper. I am thinking of doing 4 signatures, which I've never done before. I do apologise about my throat, by the way. And I've just watched somebody do outer signature strands, where you see the threads on the outside of the cover and beaded. So I'm thinking of having a go at that. That will definitely challenge me, and it'll be fun to watch me get in myself in a faff. I feel like I've really understand how to do signatures now though, and although I don't enjoy it and I don't think it's very easy, I feel like I've done it enough times and made enough mistakes that I can do that on camera. So I'm not afraid to have a go at that, but I've never done signatures that you see, and I've certainly never done beading, and I've never done a journal big enough to be 4 signatures either. And I guess the trouble with that is I think a 4 signature journal is going to take a long time to make and finish, because this one's quite, what's the word I'm looking for, not chunky, because all of mine have been chunky. It's got 3 signatures and requires quite a lot of decor, ephemera, to make it look finished. So this one's taking a while, but we did have Christmas in between, and I never like to put a journal for sale until I think it's unique enough and it has enough different ideas and ephemera in. So I'll keep going until I'm happy with it, and I'm not happy with it yet. So I've got some more ideas. I'm going to be doing some index cards, which will be a bit different. I'm going to try a few out first before I do it on camera, see what I can come up with. And either a masterboard to make some coin envelopes. I've just seen Shabby Dabby Doodah do coin envelopes, but I've got an idea of how to make them more thematic for this journal. So either make a masterboard and then turn it into coin envelopes, or just use envelopes that I have and decorate them in a quirky way. So that's coming up for this journal, and then I think I'll have enough stuff to put in the journal, and then we'll be able to do a flip through, and then I'll think about starting another one, because I'm just rubbish at doing 2 or more than one thing at once, because all my ephemera and everything that I need for this journal, I've got it all out for this journal, and then I'll just put it away and start looking at what I need for the next theme. I do mix some of it up, obviously, like lace and things, but I just get myself in such a pickle, and I don't have the room here. So yeah, one thing at a time, and that's not like me, trust me. I'm one of these people who's all over the place, much to my husband's annoyance, but hey ho, he married me. Oh, right, let's put that on there. Okay, so I know I've got trimming to do. I think we have the effect that we want. Thankfully, I haven't majorly mucked anything up on camera, because who wants to subscribe to someone who can't actually do it? Nobody. Right, yeah, that's going to look lovely. A bit sticky at the minute. And let me just do a bit of trimming. There we go. Still not sleeping well, guys. I have restless legs. Don't know if it's to do with my back problem. I've had it off and on for many years, but this time it seems to be connected with my back. I think it is. So I'll fall asleep and then wake up and feel the need to have to walk around the room or do something. So I then change my location and go in a different bedroom. Yeah, it's a pain. I might have to go to the doctor about that, but who wants to go on more tablets? No, I don't. Okay, let me see. That's not right. I need to, let me just get that off there. I think that's better. Who knows which one I'm cutting? I'm getting confused with this lace. It's confusing me a lot. Get it all tied up. Hope you've enjoyed that. Subscribe if you want to, and check out the rest of my videos, and I will see you next time for whatever it is we decide to do. Maybe in a couple of days time, a few days time. And thank you for joining me.